Let's go to number 4. Who is the best possible player to juice Miami's offense as Jimmy Butler's prime comes to a close? This is a unique question, Chris, because the Heat run under Eric Spoelstra an offense that I don't think you can just pick any old player to put into and expect it to work. So that's why I threw this one in here. Jimmy continues to wow us every single spring, but that's not going to last forever. They're not a team that likes to bottom out. I'm sure they are having this type of a question in their heads. So who is the answer in your head?
I'm going to answer this joking way and then the serious way. The joking way is whomever the current version of Deion Waiters is when Deion Waiters showed up in Miami and just took over the league for like 2 months. Remember that?
Yeah. I heard Deion is trying to get back in. Maybe it's just him.
Can I just say, this is like a random G League note. SLC Stars have Isaiah Thomas, Jason Preston, and Kenneth Lofton Jr. That's like, I might need to just watch some SLC Stars because like that's Mad Libs. That's basketball named Mad Libs.
Got to go to Utah. Sounds like that's where it's all happening.
Yeah, sure, okay. Oh, that's true. The real answer, I think, Brendon, I think there's two guys that come to mind for me. They're both bigger wing. One's a guard, and one is like a bigger wing. They've both come up today already. One is Luka, and one is Donovan Mitchell.
I can see the Donovan thing. I do not see the Luka fit. I do not think that's how they play. I don't think he would execute or be effective on defense the way that they ask for. His, let's say his BMI might be a concern preseason if they do some of the testing that they've been known for. I'm not sure Luka's making it through a training camp under Spo and Pat personally.
Yeah, I'd want to see it. That's just like, hey, star talent is star talent kind of bet. Like, yeah. That's kind of because, like, ultimately, I think, like, if you go back to the origins of the last, like, 15 years of the Heat, it rested on the Heatles more, like, and then it's evolved into this other thing. But I think at the core of it is, like, let's just go get, like, really good fucking basketball players.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, how much did fit with Bam factor in for you here? How much was that in your thought process? Or is it kind of like you're finding a guy better than Bam, so he matters maybe less ideally?
I mean, I think he matters into it, and I think Mitchell in particular would be like a really great fit with Bam. The handoff stuff with him and like it would just be like, I think, frankly, unguardable in a lot of ways, particularly as Bam has gotten really good in the middle of the floor. Luka, I think, would be like a little different. I think that fits a little like it's not exactly like the Luka kind of big that we kind of talked about earlier. So maybe Mitchell. Yeah. I think my exact answer is going to be Donovan Mitchell. I think that's kind of the one. Because he's kind of like at his best, he's like a more 3-point heavy version of the way Jimmy plays. Not as tough and physical, but he's got like the same kind of the way he wants to play in terms of like how it looks a lot of the time. So I think that's like kind of the more seamless one, and I think he'd be really accentuated by the way they want to play. Like I think the stuff Miami does and they're kind of known for would elevate him. In some of the stuff that maybe are his bad tendencies, they could kind of push some of those things out of the way for him.
I think the way they scheme their defense would maybe be the best situation he's been in defensively, whereas Utah and Cleveland guard a little bit more straight up. Miami likes to sort of overhelp and kind of hide and zones and stuff like that.
Let me say this. Let me just say this more. Let me say this more bluntly than that. A little less kind than that. Cleveland and Utah were designed to let Donovan Mitchell not have to do very much in defense and try. Miami is going to make him fucking try. Like that's as simple as it gets. I think. Cleveland's like we have Evan Mobley and Jerry.
Try, but physically, I think if you're not asking him to constantly be like fighting through screens and. They just have a good way of accentuating, but also kind of maximizing their defensive talent. I mean, like, I don't think any of us feel like Jaime Jaquez is one of the best defenders in the NBA, but you watch him in Miami, it's like you probably could convince yourself he is. So, yeah, I guess it just sort of depends on how you look at it. My answer, Steph Curry.
Okay, this is wild, bro. I just thinking of just thinking of Steph anywhere outside of Golden State to me just doesn't like. It just feels
the point
like
of this whole thing.
I know.
We're
It's just
letting our
like-
imaginations run wild. We're not just
Right.
gonna. I didn't want to say the same guys. I didn't have any duplicate answers or any duplicate kind of connections or anything in this. So I was really trying to just blow the top off all the possibilities. I mean, you're talking like, think about how Duncan Robinson has performed the past 4 years in Miami, or how Hero, some of his best moments, what Terry Rozier or Kyle Lowry have done in kind of this flow motion, dribble handoff heavy, transition heavy offense. I feel like Steph is a perfect fit for that, personally. I mean, again, to your point, he fits in Golden State the best, but if I were to put him somewhere else, I don't really care for the purposes of this question what it means for the Warriors or Draymond or Steve Kerr or
Sure.
anything. For the Heat, if I were to cook up the best guy in a laboratory that I could to fix my offense or take it to the next level, you might want a younger option. That could be a net you pick with my Steph answer, but I think Steph would be an amazing fit with how they play, and obviously he's still kind of a one-man offense a lot of the time.
He would be. I do think to your credit in thinking of this is a creative answer. I do think he would be so amplified in a crazy way by what Miami does and just the way they want to play offense all the time. I mean, imagine Bam like feeding him back out as he relocates. Like good luck, you know.
Like Bam's gotten Draymond comps, right? So it's kind of like, let's just go to the younger version of the guy that's been feeding me for years already.
It would, yeah, that would be fun. He would be him in that
a more dynamic scoring threat than Draymond ever was. So the two-man game has another wrinkle when you actually have to guard for Bam, driving to the basket, pulling up, whatever.